Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of Fear the Walking Dead. This week's episode was Season 3, Episode 4, which is called 100. Or 100. However you want to say it. But, so I know I'm a couple days late, but I just got around to watching the episode today, and I'm still pretty surprised I'm saying this, but Fear the Walking Dead is on a pretty good roll this season so far. I mean, I've actually been pretty into it, surprisingly enough, since the double premiere. Last week's episode is pretty solid as well, I thought, and I'm a little bit floored. Maybe not floored, but I'm still pretty pleasantly surprised with how well this season is doing so far. If it keeps up like this, I think it's overall going to be a better season than what Season 7 of The Walking Dead was overall. Don't get me wrong, I still like Season 7 of The Walking Dead. I'm not one of those saying, oh, it was awful or something like that, but, I feel like it was just a little bit, too, spaced out and a little bit too padded out. Even though I love some of the Rick and Michonne stuff and some of the Negan stuff here and there is good, but Fear the Walking Dead's honestly showing more consistency with their Season 3 so far right now, and I'm not really afraid to say that either. I'm happy, I'm happy we can still enjoy The Walking Dead, but I'm happy that Fear the Walking Dead is shaping up nicely too, at least it is starting to anyway. So in this episode, we got the return or the reintroduction of Daniel Salazar, played by Ruben Blades. We've seen him return at the end of the last episode, giving Strand water. Excuse me. And then Strand initially tries to tell him his daughter's waiting for him back at the hotel, but Daniel Salazar, he kind of picks apart that. Strand is a pretty good manipulator himself, but Salazar is one of the people who can, kind of see right through that. And although he could see he was genuinely happy to hear about his, Ophelia at first, he kind of picked up on that probably not being the whole case there at the very least. So there's that, but this episode, even before that, was mainly focused on what happened to Salazar after, the Colonia, burned down or whatever it was. The little, farm with the, family last year and everything like that. When he supposedly ambiguously, went up when he lit it up and everything like that. We heard a while ago he was confirmed to still be alive, and a lot of us knew he was going to reappear in this season. We basically see where he went after that. He's found by this guy named Efrain. Don't know the actor's name, but I do remember him as the Skinner, this serial killer on Season 3 of Dexter. So it was good seeing him here too. And I liked the scenes of Salazar and his time spent together, just sitting with each other, going back and forth about things. Some pretty good dialogue in this episode, I gotta say. There's one little thing that was a little bit off, I thought. When Salazar goes out, it's night. It looks really good, by the way, visually. There's that really tall walker that goes after him with a big beard and stuff. He looked pretty creepy, pretty, scary, actually. But the fact that Salazar, he gets on his knees and the walker is literally struck by lightning and killed. I mean, come on, that's just overboard. I know, it can happen, and, I even read, comments of people complaining about it, and there's, someone that says, oh, yeah, but I know this guy got struck, twice. So, yeah, it's possible, but still feels really, 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 really lucky. But, it's a pass, it's not a big deal, in the grand scheme of things. I just thought that was, a little bit funny. So I liked a lot of their time spent together, and eventually, of course, he does get to the dam. We get to see more of Dante as a villain. Some people theorizing that he's like the, Fears version of the governor from The Walking Dead. And I thought Dante could have made a villain like that. Maybe not on the same level, obviously, as David Morrissey and stuff. But I thought he could have been a season villain at least, or maybe even just a mid-season villain. But he's killed off at the end of this episode. But we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But eventually, once he has more direct interaction with Dante, Dante's, recognizes some of the marks he has, from his time at war and everything like that, that darkness, and that violence that Salazar holds within himself. And then he sees he can actually use him as like a tool, as like main, killer and, torture and everything like that. So I thought those scenes were pretty good, and him sort of, Daniel sort of debating, how best to help, Lola, as well as Efrain. He starts to make a, just an awful choice on, sort of giving Efrain over after, actually, but in the meantime, sort of still covering for Lola a little bit. But he knows he's seen as he's seen very terribly in Lola's eyes, and he doesn't deny any of that. But I thought that was all psychologically really interesting, and it's one of those scenarios that is that would happen in this type of world, and I feel like Fear the Walking Dead's almost more realistic with that sometimes than the original show. But I thought that choice was handled well here. It was pretty good, and just all the little interactions as Daniel was going about this, and seeing how everything runs, and just sort of figuring everyone out and everything like that, I thought was pretty good. There's a lot more I could talk about, but I just overall thought this was a very good episode. I don't know if it was the best of the season. Yeah, maybe in some ways it probably was. I just like seeing more of the characters sometimes because I'm a big Alicia Debnam and Carrie fan and stuff. But this was probably honestly, it probably was the best episode of the season so far, but it's just continuing this, excuse the voice crack, it's just continuing this trend, surprising trend, but, of Fear the Walking Dead really shaping itself up nicely, and I'm really, really liking this season so far. And it was pretty exciting when Daniel, he, headbutted the guard, and then he pulled the gun, shot the guy in the head, dumped him off the railing, off the dam. I like the scope of the dam too, so I thought Dante as a villain and the dam being an environment as a setting could be a pretty good location to have some bigger moments happen on later on, but I guess we're not really going to go back there, even though they have the whole water set up, so it would make sense if they would, once they're reunited maybe. It could be sort of a location for the show, I think, to stay. I don't know. Now that Dante's dead and everything, it could be interesting. But who knows what they're going to do. But overall, still a really good episode. If I had to rate, I'd rate it between a 9 and 9.2 out of 10. I thought it was that good. And once again, I'm just really happy that Fear's really coming around like this, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this season. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this one. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.